We often admire beauty queens for their poise, polish, and perfection. But what happens behind the crown, beneath the smile? Today on Mindset, we sit with Kerrion Greenwood, a beauty queen who was placed first runner-up in Miss Global 2025 and Miss Universe East 2024. Her story, however, is not just one of stage lights and sashes. Kerrion lives with depressive disorder, carries the memory of her mother who battled mental illness, and is still healing from the profound loss of her father, her greatest source of strength. This is The Mind Crowned in Courage, an intimate conversation about grief, womanhood, resilience, and redefining what it truly means to shine. Welcome to Mindset. I'm Suzette Buchanan.
Mirror of the Mind is brought to you by the National Health Fund, NHF, taking a healthy interest in you.
Them snapper are fresh, go.
Real, man.
Real. Yeah, man, a nice old thing. Hey. Yeah, there. Pretty, man. It's a pretty song. You know that one, yeah?
No, Booker. I want the gun, man.
Wait, gone? What do you mean?
Today she there, tomorrow she gone.
Nah, man, it's an empress like that, man. I'm a tabernacle, go. What you say? You sure she gone?
Sure, she gone.
Style, man. Want that, yes.
Not that one then.
Right, Soapy. Not the one that. Hear me and say, go, but everybody deserves I love. Especially those living with mental health conditions. You see the much? Hold on, chef. You know, finish up this. I'll get my number.
Welcome, Kerrion. It is so good to have you.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you for inviting me.
Awesome. What was your mental health status before pageantry?
My mom got ill when I was about 9 or 10. I had to be there for my dad because, you know, he's the father. He's not as... He doesn't understand a lot of things that a girl child would want at that given point. And my dad was born in the 60s. He was very traditional. So losing my mom like in that way, it really took a toll on me. I had to step up. Just being 10 years old, I had to be washing, cooking, cleaning. I had to just be there for her. I had to take care of her. And at that age, it doesn't allow you a lot of time to be a child, really. So I believe that took a toll on me. I was very depressed from a very young age. My grades in school fell. I remember my grade 5 teacher reaching out to like my dad and was like, you know what's happening with her? Because I was always a bright girl in school. And that's how they realized that my home situation was affecting my schooling. It was affecting my behavior. And there was definitely a change in my behavior, but my dad was struggling as well. He didn't really understand what mental health was or how to navigate that situation, especially with my mom and now me. So I kind of kept it inside. You know, I had to just deal with it because I knew that he needed me in a certain capacity, that I just had to be there, you know. So I used to question God, like, why am I going through this? You know, I was suicidal. I didn't want to be here. I used to self-inflict pain. So I used to cut myself. And yeah, that's coming from, I was 10, 11, 12. I shouldn't have been dealing with that.
What was mommy's diagnosis?
So my mother was schizophrenic. She had been diagnosed prior to me being born, and she was being medicated for it. However, she developed a tumor when I was around 9. So that's what really triggered another episode, because she had to come off her medication. So because of that, she went into an episode and she just didn't come back from it. So ever since I've been fully aware of, you know, who my mother is, I've known her for her mental illness, which you know, to me, it felt like I kind of blame myself in a way because I should not have viewed her like that, but I didn't understand. Growing up, I'm 9, I don't understand a lot of things. So just seeing her sick, I feel like I should have accepted that that's who she is now, instead of trying to think of her as how she was before.
What was your understanding of your mother's mental health at that time and the condition that she was living with?
So based on my knowledge then, I knew that schizophrenia has to do with multiple personalities. Sometimes she would see things that are not there. She would hallucinate a lot. She would just be erratic in her behavior, and that's something that I understood it to be, but at the same time, that's not what I knew my mother for. So it was difficult dealing with her and her spasms because, you know, sometimes she would just act out of turn. So I think I got quite a bit of understanding when I left high school, funny enough, because I feel like sometimes I was even selfish. It was like, I'm just caught up on the fact that my mom is not who she used to be, and I used to try and force her to be that person, but that's just not what she was anymore. And that's why I decided to look into mental health and developing my advocacy, because I realized to nurture someone who has suffered in that capacity, they have to be held. They have to be, you know, understood. And I feel like I fail at that. So I wanted to help other people to, you know, understand what it is that someone is going through when they're mentally ill, give them the proper support. And for her, I would say when I was about 18, and it was close to when she passed, because she passed when I was 19. So she would do little things for me, like in her little way. Like she would wake me up in the morning and say, you know, Kerry, are you okay? Checking on me. I really appreciated that, and that made me understand that she's still a person. She's still herself. And I just need to seek beyond whatever was poisoning my brain as to what mental illness is. And it has a lot to do with societal norms as to what mental illness is like, and it should be like, and what it is. I was influenced by that, and I think that's what blinded me, but I'm glad that I got to make peace with that and try to learn her more. I kind of resented her in a way, and I should not have felt like that.
What was the resentment you felt towards her?
It was like, I need you to be here because I don't understand life. I don't understand why I'm here. I don't understand a lot of things. And I lean towards my mom, like even when you're growing up as a woman, you're experiencing a lot of different things, hormones are kicking in. Like, you know, I felt like I couldn't talk to her about a lot of different things.
Do you fear having this diagnosis in the future?
I do, because her mom had it as well. Her mom has learned to live with it, which is my grandma. I'm not very close with her. She's very closed off, and I think that has a lot to do with her mental illness. I check on her every now and again, but she's very closed off. I do fear it, so I try my best to protect my mental health in any way possible, and, you know, do things that will not lead me to having an episode.
What are some of the things that you do?
So I journal a lot. Me and a pen and paper go together really bad.
Yes.
Like, ever since I was little, because I didn't have an outlet, I used to just write my thoughts. And I found that that really worked for me. You know, I had my diary, write down all my feelings. One time my dad found it, he was upset, but, you know.
What did he find in the book?
Honestly, everything. I don't know what he did not find. But I'm happy I did it. It was an outlet for me, and at the time growing up, I didn't feel like I could talk to anybody. And I think that's the depression that was in me, talking to me like I couldn't ask for help, or I felt like people would just use these things against me. So I had a lot of trust issues growing up too. So I had to just pen to paper. No, I socialize a lot. I find that meeting people is something that I really enjoy. So I'm a socialite. I'll go out. I love hearing people's experiences. I love relating to people. So I think that has really nurtured me in terms of my mental illness, as well as God. I don't leave out God in anything.
Amazing, amazing. We're two of a kind when it comes on to that.
Yes.
You know, you have to put him at the forefront of your life. Kerrion, kids can be unnecessarily cruel. Having a mother that was living with a mental health condition, you can get ridiculed. Did this ever happen? Were you ever ridiculed at any point?
No, because I never spoke about it.
So it was hush hush.
Yes, I was very ashamed to say it. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't want to talk about it with my friends. As I said, a lot of people didn't even know the nature as to why my mom was ill. They just knew that she was sick for some time. From primary school up to high school, no one really knew, and I was never the person to open up and talk about how I feel, because as I said, I would always feel like people will use those things to hurt you. So I internalized a lot of what I was going through just so that I can have a peace of mind, or at least I thought it would have been peace of mind at that time.
Wonderful, wonderful folks. This is Mindset. My guest, Kerrion Greenwood. We take the break. When we return, Kerrion will tell us more. We'll be right back.
Mindset is brought to you by
Yard gas. Think me go make them call me Donny. Yard one thing, me say yard one thing. Oh, worry. Bad thing. Again? Ami, you buy the gas after me and it done before me, Rasta. A yard man are just done saying. Yard man things stronger and longer. Bakuya. Me cook for church, me cook for school, me cook for side chick. Me just a cook a balance, saying.
Claim me for care when me say gas pan tonight instead of him.
Me a full up. A yard man in the kitchen. Yard man still when me touch the road. It's a yard man thing. Yes, sir.
At Jatton Medical Services, we believe everyone deserves expert care they can afford. That's why we offer advanced oncology and personalized cancer treatment, safe, high-quality dialysis for kidney care, complete eye care through our trusted ophthalmology team, and fast, reliable results from our Sumo lab. Call us or contact us on our social media platforms. Jatton Medical Services,
Welcome back to Mindset. Here on Mindset, we take the conversations to the streets and hear from you.
She's beautiful, confident, but silently battling. Today on Mindset, we'll be asking the question, would you date a pretty woman that has a mental health condition? Let's find out.
If I had a mental health, I would want a pretty woman to live with me.
Talking to a man and he's good looking, and afterwards figuring out that he has a mental health condition, I wouldn't actually stay there. I step aside. Leave him for somebody who not figure that out.
If we were together before, basically, and she get ill, basically, I would have stick with her same way.
Yes, of course, everybody needs love.
Kerrion, tell us about your journey in pageantry and how did this help with the healing of your mental health?
I'm so happy I found pageantry. I was completely lost. As you know, I would have lost my dad recently, back in 2023, and that was the last straw for me. I would have lost both of my parents, and I believe I was on that journey alone. You know, those two people you feel like you've had for an extensive period of time. I lost them at the age of 23. And that's when I met Mr. Jermaine Blair, who is my old manager. He managed me for Miss Universe Jamaica East, and he reached out to me on Instagram and was like, you know, I think you'd be a really good fit. And I'm like, no, like, that is not for me. But I decided to take it up, and it was the best experience I've ever had. It was the stepping stone to new growth. Me losing my dad really pushed me into that light. It was almost like I was using my pain to turn into something greater than I could ever imagine. And as I was depressed for 3 months. I took time off work to just stay in my bed and sleep, wake up, eat, sleep, do it all over again. And I realized I couldn't continue like that. That was not healthy for me, and there's no way I could be progressive, and that's not something that my father or any of my parents would want me to be doing. So pageantry really led me to a really good place in my life. I went on to win Miss Universe Jamaica East, which I'm very proud of. That's the first.
Proud of you too.
Thank you. First title under my belt. It felt surreal. I was crying on stage because I knew my father and my mom would be so proud of me.
If Dad was here, what would he say in this moment? Just see how you have grown and you've blossomed into this.
Oh, my father used to call me Booze. So Booze, I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you. I dreamt and saw him the other day, actually, which I woke up feeling really good. It felt like a conversation I've had with him before, and I just woke up feeling fulfillment, like we had a good conversation, and it was good.
What were some of the positivity in a world a couple of years back when there was just so many things happening with Mommy? What were some of the positivity that Daddy poured into Booze? Is it Booze? Booze.
Listen, my dad, he was not an emotional man at all. So he did everything else he could. My father ensured that I got the best. If I asked my father for a pen and him don't have the money to buy the pen, he's going to find the money by tomorrow. He went above and beyond, and everybody can attest to that. And he spoke so highly of me. And, you know, after him passing, and I would hear all the things that he was saying, I'm like, well, wait, him don't say that to me. You know, like, he wanted me to live up to my true potential. And I'm really happy that he did that. He never allowed me to become lackadaisical or be comfortable in where I was. He would always push me to do better. He poured a lot of that in me. It was very tough love, but it's something that I think I needed in order to be where I am today.
I know you eventually sought professional help.
Yes.
But is this continuous? Are you seeing a therapist at this time?
Currently, not at the moment. I try to do things on my own. I'm thinking about going back to therapy because given who I am in the public light, it does take a toll on you. It's a lot mentally, how people perceive you and living up to like a certain expectation. So I really am thinking about going back to therapy. It did a lot for me when I just lost my dad. So I was going to therapy constantly during that time. But my therapist was like, you know, you seem to have it all figured out. So just do it. Even when I was overseas, I broke down in my room. No one knew. Just by myself, screaming into my pillow because it's overbearing. And I'm a Black woman in a dominantly Asian pageant. I was not feeling as confident as I should have at a point. But when I tell you I bring God with me in every instance, I always ask God to let my heart shine through. And He's just always given me the platform and allowed me to do that.
What does your support system look like now, apart from Jermaine that you talk so much about?
I would say I live with my cousins. Great support system. I have my 2 best friends. I have my aunts. Honestly, I have a lot of people rallying around me. I believe that God has positioned a lot of these people in my life, given the loss that I've had, to give me a support system, a proper support system.
Awesome. Resilience is a word associated with you consistently. How much did that help you to deal with your experiences with the loss of your parents and your continuous growth?
I do believe life just deals you cards. You don't get to choose the cards that life has dealt you. So it's more about what you do with those cards rather than dwelling on what has happened, because you can't change the past, right? So I believe a shift in my mindset was what really carried me throughout my journey.
Can you say that again? A what? A shift in your mindset.
Yes, a shift in your mindset. Yes, I do believe that a shift in your mindset can really change your whole story. Like, you control your narrative as much as we want to think otherwise, and obstacles are placed in our way, and you know, we just have to work through them because it does get better. I'm not going to sound cliche, but it really does get better.
I'm going to throw some words at you, just 3 words, and just tell me what comes to mind. Love.
My dad.
Life.
Me.
Health.
My mom.
Happiness.
God.
You might say I can't count because I said 3 and I'm on 1. This is Mindset. Please stay with us. We'll be right back with our resident psychiatrist, Dr. Roger Roberts, who will share his perspective.
Mindset is brought to you by...
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Search for its breeding sites and destroy them.
Miss Gooden, are you ready for the 12 o'clock meeting?
I'm not feeling it good right now. I have a headache, I have diarrhea, I can't have see straight. Is that you?
Get well soon.
Oh my God, finally! Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. My boss, he's so annoying. Can't wait to leave the job and stop working for that silly little man. Anyways, summer is coming up, so I need laser hair removal everywhere, full body red light therapy. I need fat dissolving injections, more to be removed. I need everything.
Welcome back to Mindset, and thanks for staying with us. Dr. Roberts, you've heard Kerrion's story. What is your perspective? I know you have a mouthful.
There's quite a bit to unpack from Kerry's story. I would like to start off with something that seemed very simple. She described her mom as being schizophrenic. And just for the viewers, it may seem very simple, but it's very important that, you know, we don't use the adjective from the diagnosis to describe those who are suffering from the illness. So rather than saying mom is schizophrenic, mom had schizophrenia.
Yes.
And the reason for that, when we use the adjective, that's how we see the person. She had schizophrenia, but also she was a partner, she was a mother, she had many other roles. Yes. So why take one to label the person, yes. Right? So it helps with the
Good
stigma.
Point.
Right. The other thing that came out strongly in Kerry's interview, and this is quite prevalent in Jamaica actually, where we've got parentified child or children. So children take on responsibilities that the adults should be taking on. And we don't often have discussion as to how that impacts on you psychologically. If you were a parentified child, you tend to be very independent. You tend to go about trying to fix everybody's problem, and you tend to ignore yourself. It's very hard for a parentified child as an adult to see themselves as in need, because they have taken on all of that responsibility while growing up. And it's important because it means that you may need help, but you don't know how to ask for help because of the role that you were placed in while growing up. And then the issue of her mom having schizophrenia, and she would have expressed that she worries at time or concern that she may develop the illness. I think that is very common as well, that if a family member is suffering from an illness, all the family members may become very worried. They may be concerned that I may too develop the illness. And this may not necessarily be the case. I mean, it varies from illness to illness, but in the case of Kerry, we know exactly what her risk would be. Yes. Assuming that her dad hasn't got schizophrenia, it's only her mom, her risk of developing the illness is between 10 and 12%. which means that there is between 88 to 90% chance that she won't.
So it's very low.
Right, when you look at it that way, which is important. And what I've always said to clients is that worrying is not going to prevent. And she mentioned a few things, and I think that I would like to underscore those points as well, that she tries to manage her, her mental health, which is absolutely good, because you want to go into prevention, so you want to take care of yourself. Basic things like eating proper nutrition, exercising, stress management, right? Those things will reduce the chance of develop various mental health challenges. And you can't worry about genetics because you can't change your genes. But you should be concentrating on the lifestyle aspect that you have control over. And I think that she's doing a bit of that. And I think that the final thing to mention is the whole depression.
Yes.
I mean, she did not talk much about her depression, but we know that depression is more common in women. In fact, women are twice oftentimes diagnosed with depression as compared to men. And there's a lot of things that are taking place within women that may put them at risk. We may think about the hormonal changes that they go through, pregnancy and post-pregnancy risk, menopause. But also, it's believed that there are certain social stressors that women are exposed to. And one of them, Kerrion mentioned, is the whole caregiving role.
Yes.
Within our society, women are usually caregivers, single-parent household. They're taking care of children, they're taking care of elderly parents, and that can come with a lot of stress and may compromise their mental health as well, putting them at risk for depression and anxiety, as well as other mental health challenges.
Thank you so much, Dr. Roberts.
Each week on Mindset, we share the voices of the forgotten residents of Bellevue Hospital, ready to return to society, but left behind by their families. Hear their stories only on Mindset.
I was working in Kingston Harbor out there when I got sick. Things wasn't moving right with me. I was things going bad. Headache, vomiting, everything I eat just coming up back like that. So they called an ambulance and the ambulance took me here. It was about 5 years ago. Oh, my family, they come and look for me here. She came here about 2 months ago. She shouldn't be coming back. I dream, I pray. Leaving here, going home. We're good to see somebody coming and looking for you, taking things in.
Kerrion's story has shown how beauty, strength, and grace can shine through struggle, and a redefinition of what it means to be truly resilient. Thank you for watching Mindset. We hope these stories inspire you to embrace your own strength and continue to break the silence around mental health. Good night.